Hello, welcome to the rookie setup of Odd One Out. And you might be able to hear a dog in the background, our lovely herding dog. He's half Australian cattle dog, half border collie. Is that not right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Should you sit up on a stool too, or like, does this look weird?
I think it looks weird, but we're the odd one out.
Okay.
So, and you can hear our lovely daughter playing in the background.
Oh, thank you.
And she might bring us stuff like this. Very tactile, sensory toys. I still enjoy them. That's how you know I'm a grown man child. But anyways, today, there's plenty to talk about. And I thought, who better to talk about it than our managing editor, our producer, our queen, Ashley Spencer, my wife.
Hello.
Off to the side, you might see me scroll every now and then. Again, we have a rookie setup. It is what it is, and that's okay. But I'm going to let her take off. So go ahead, Ashley. Tell us what you want to talk about today.
Okay. Well, we want to talk a little bit about Medicaid, about the budget bill that was just passed in the House, a little bit about me. I am a nurse. I will just say that I have some familiarity working with Medicaid patients, but I won't pretend to be an expert on the government or even Medicaid. So I really just wanted to come with some facts. I did some research, want to do some education, because I just feel like a lot of times we hear different things on social media, wherever you get your news, and sometimes we lack education. And even myself, I went and I wanted to read the budget for myself. It's hard for us regular citizens to fully understand what it's talking about. What is it going to do? So I kind of just wanted to dive into all of that. I have some facts from all different kinds of sources because I really wanted to just try and be as educational and not at all, although we do have our view that aligned with one side, I wanted to bring education that was just facts and non-biased, non-partisan facts.
If you have an agenda, that's okay, but you better be able to back it up with facts, and that's the difference that we have. Right now we're in the disinformation age, 100%. And so we are putting out facts. We're bringing the receipts. That's what you're going to get at this channel. You will get agenda, but 100% you're going to get facts. We're going to tell you how it is. That's the agendas. We're going to tell you how it is, and we'll also have the facts to back it up. Go ahead.
So I guess I will first just share some facts about Medicaid in our state. We are in Oklahoma. There are about 4 million citizens here in Oklahoma. As of June 2024, we had 1,043,474 Oklahomans on Medicaid. So give or take about a fourth of our state on Medicaid. 53% of those Medicaid members are children. I think we all agree we care about children. So just keep that in mind. A lot of children are on Medicaid. And something I will also add, I think Medicaid gets the idea of it's for low-income people, which it is, but there are disabled children, medically complex children who qualify for Medicaid because of their medical needs, because they need a nurse in their home to come take care of them. So I think it's important to know there are a lot of situations that could cause someone to be on Medicaid.
Not just income, like you said, right? Not
yes.
just income.
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
Yes. Also, pregnant women. There are a lot of pregnant women that benefit from Medicaid. They wouldn't have medical coverage. Some of them probably wouldn't get prenatal care during their pregnancy because they wouldn't be able to pay for it.
Wait, so the pro-lifers are cutting off Medicaid?
Right.
What?
Right.
Oh.
Yes, and I think it's important to note prenatal care is for the baby as well. It's for the mom, but it's also for the baby. So, we need to think about our pregnant women when it comes to Medicaid as well.
Thinking about women, crazy. Thinking about the women. I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, that's why I bring up it's important for the baby as well, because, some people, they don't really care about the women, but maybe
they definitely care about the baby. 100%.
So all of those statistics are from Oklahoma.gov. That's our state's website. You can find, it's the Medicaid website for Oklahoma. You can find all these facts. Something we were discussing last night, I don't know, recently, was how much federal funding
does our state receive?
Yes, for Medicaid.
For our own Medicaid program, okay.
Which, same source, Oklahoma.gov, we found that 75% of our state's Medicaid comes from federal funding.
Wow.
So only 25% is actually state funded.
I wonder if it would be significant to cut 3/4 of the budget. And I want to loop around to something before I forget about it. Earlier I said that we're going to give you agenda 2. If you look at facts like these and you're not able to get an agenda out of that, I don't know what to tell you. We're not just deciding to wake up one day. And matter of fact, I was on the opposite side of the spectrum as this woman for so long. And then I went down the middle. And then it's just like, I don't even know how to look at stuff like this and stay down the middle with where our environment is. So I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. Our agenda is for a reason. If you don't come to the same conclusion when you look at some of these facts, I don't know. I can't teach you empathy. I can't teach you a bunch of things. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. The only other thing I wanted to say about that was I did do a little bit of digging just to see how it is with other states. It, of course, varies from state to state, but typically the breakdown is that about 70% of Medicaid funding comes from federal funding, and then the state pays about 30%. Like I said, give and take, but I think what we can take away here is that most Medicaid funding comes from federal funds. Okay, so that just being some facts about Medicaid. I wanted to dig a little bit into the bill. Like I said, I did go read it and try and read it. And it's not clear. Like it pretty much just lists all of these committees and says how much money they're going to be allotted. All it says is health, and then it gets that much. Like, we don't know. I mean, what falls under health? It's agriculture. I don't know what falls under agriculture. So anyways, I read the bill. I also went and did some research to try and make it make sense. I also want to point this out because I actually was just reading some comments before we made this on Facebook of people saying, "Oh, they're not cutting Medicaid. Like, you guys are just trying to,
you guys are just overreacting."
Fear.
Trump derangement syndrome, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so I will say, no, the bill does not specifically say we're cutting Medicaid. Okay, I'll give that to you. However, the committee that Medicaid is under is the Energy and Commerce Committee. And I looked that up. I mean, it's a lot of things, health stuff, it was like telecommunications. I mean, there's a lot of stuff about like telehealth. I mean, a lot of things fall under this committee, but Medicaid being one of them. That committee is being cut by $88 billion.
Per year. 880 billion total, 88 per year. Okay. Yes, okay.
And so what does that mean? Yes, it's not specifically saying Medicaid funding is being cut. I will tell you, I found articles from Forbes, CNN. Oh, not CNN. I know some of you don't like CNN.
But you got Forbes at least.
But I also have Newsweek and Fox News articles.
Both lean right.
All saying that while Medicaid isn't specifically laid out in this bill, even if you cut every program that is under this committee,
that's not Medicaid, right?
You would still have to cut some Medicaid funding to meet this goal.
Yeah, and I remember reading about this. If you cut off 100% of everything that's not Medicaid, you're still left with over $400 billion that you still need to cut, meaning $400 billion would still come out of Medicaid, even if you took out everything else. And we can probably safely assume they're not going to go for everything else 100%. Am
Sure.
I right? So Medicaid is going to be cut a lot more than $400 billion.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the point that I wanted to make with these facts, with these different sources. Yes, while Medicaid isn't specifically in the bill, there's no way that it can be followed without making cuts to Medicaid.
And you're stupid. They think you're stupid. That's what it is.
And that means the people that we just talked about, children, pregnant women, children with disabilities, children who are medically complex, could be cut.
The vulnerable.
Okay. I also wanted to look into, because we've also been hearing SNAP benefits could be cut. SNAP, if you don't know, it's essentially food stamps. So I wanted to look into that. Same thing, it's not fully laid out that SNAP is being cut, but SNAP falls under the Agriculture Committee, which is being cut $230 billion. Okay, so I think it's safe to say, same thing, likely some SNAP benefits will be lost.
A projected 20% is what was published.
And interestingly enough, I actually found a group today, it's called Hunger Free Oklahoma. They just advocate for people, they don't want people to go hungry. Yes. And they actually said that in 2023, more than 900,000 Oklahomans were receiving SNAP benefits. So again,
we voted for this, apparently.
Well,
not us.
We didn't, but so I think mostly just wanted to lay out what really is going on, lay out some facts, lay out some statistics of people who benefit from these things. I also wanted to point out a way also, there's been some talk of ways that they're going to try to cut Medicaid, is by putting more like restrictions or qualifications. Something that's been talked about is a work qualification to get on Medicaid, which I can already hear some of you now. Well, why can't they go get a job? They should go get a job, you know. In theory, sure.
Because disabled people don't exist.
I want you to think about the disabled people. I want you to think about the single mom or just the family in general that can't afford childcare. So how are they supposed to go work? And then you want to take away their health coverage because they can't work.
Yeah, because the conservatives like to point at sometimes stay-at-home moms being the better option because that's a job within itself, right? But then they wouldn't be able to qualify for Medicaid because they're not technically working. Ah, interesting. Hypocrisy?
So,
no way.
I guess my point in this is maybe take a look at someone's situation that is different than yours. Maybe think about someone being in someone else's shoes. It's not always that easy to just go get a job. And it's not right to take away someone's health care because they can't get a job or don't have a job. Or if you want them to get a job, fix the child care issue. I mean, it's a whole circle that all impacts everything. And I think sometimes we forget and we don't take into account that a lot of people have hard situations that we will never experience, but it's about thinking about other people.
Imagine being in the greatest country on the planet and making sure every single person is taken care of. What a wild concept. In the year 2025, whenever we're supposed to be a much more modern. So,
I also quickly just wanted to point out some promises that were made by Trump, which was no taxes on tips or overtime. Again, I'm not saying that won't happen, but that also is not laid out in this bill. So that's, a promise that was made to you all that is still going to need some figuring out. It's not in the budget, specifically right now. So just wanted to point that out as well. Unless you have anything else to add, I wanted to kind of do what we did last time and just talk about what's good, what's going on good over here. But you go ahead if you have anything else to add before we do that.
No, this is why this is her show. She got it. She killed it.
So was going to just talk about for our Oklahoma, they're doing some bills that were proposed. They've been going through committees. So I was just going to point out a couple bills that sound like they will be positive for people, and they have made it out of the committee, and they're now going to get to be voted on.
Keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay. So this first one is House Bill 1853. It will expand deductibles to include cash payments for out-of-pocket medical services. So basically, it sounds like more of your money will be put towards your deductible, which I think would be a positive for all of us. Those things, health insurance is expensive. And then House Bill 1836 also passed the committee. It ensures that individuals with IDD, so that is intellectual and developmental disabilities, it ensures that they are explicitly recognized. It opens pathways for fair wage employment and aligns with Oklahoma's broader goals of workforce development and economic inclusion. So basically making sure that people with disabilities are able to go get employment if they can and if they desire to. So those are two really good bills that we have that passed through committees and will now be voted on by our Oklahoma Congress. So
and they're normally Looney Tunes, so that's some really good news.
well, those are bills that were approved by proposed by Democrats, but it is good that it made it through the committees. I imagine it had to have support from both sides to make it through the committee. So
bipartisan bill.
Good news.
Refreshing. Yeah, and for me, I think it's also good news that those 3 different marriage and divorce laws all fell flat on their face. Mm-hmm. Those were 3 different bills that were introduced by a far right-wing guy that, whatever your stance is on pornography, that's fine. I don't think that anybody's stance, or at least not even maybe 1% of people, think that you should get a life prison sentence for making pornography. That's just an example.
Not just regular.
Just plain porn. Like, whatever your stance is, okay, but a full life sentence in prison. So that's the kind of ideals that come from this guy. I won't even touch on those marriage and divorce laws. You can look them up. They're nuts. And even in a far right state like we have, it got struck down 6-2 before it could even get any further in the committee. So that's definitely some fantastic news that we had some reason and logic in a place where that's not always been the case these last few years. So, oh yeah, uh-oh. I think that might be our sign. I think our little girl's hungry. We got a Chicago deep dish pizza waiting on us, baby. That's why I stepped away to go pull that out of the oven. Gino's East. It's the name of the pizza restaurant. It's in Chicago. It's fantastic pizza. I think was that our second favorite, with Illuminati's being number 1.
Probably, yes.
Gino's East is fantastic though. So we're gonna go feed our lovely daughter and enjoy our evening. I hope that you enjoy your evening as well. I think this is our greatest episode yet, and I appreciate you tuning in. Odd one out.
Thank you for listening.
Come on, baby. Let's go eat some pizza.